Welcome guys to the studio. The last time we did a video on how to work smarter, we gave some couple of tips. The feedback was awesome. Thanks for that. And don't worry, keep your feedbacks coming in, your comments, your questions. We've been taking our time, the best of our knowledge, to answer and attend, to each of those. So keep it coming. We love you guys and we appreciate you for that. We'll try our best to continue, answering your questions. So now we have 10 more tips. 10 more impressive tips that can actually speed up your workflow and improve your productivity on your Akai MPC device. So let's go. Talking about the 10 more tips to work smarter on your MPC devices. Number one will be the Swift metronome access. You need to know that if you want to actually quickly access your metronome, enable it or disable it, instead of having to come here and press the metronome and then switch it on or switch it off, there's actually another shortcut that you can use to enable or disable your metronome, and it's simply by pressing the shift and the play start. When you press on hold shift and you press your play start, you see metronome on, metronome off. That works. Number two, Playhead Fine-tune. Anytime you are in the grid view, normally you might want to use your quick link to filter or to search through your playhead, but it moves in 240 tick per movement. Let's check. By pressing and holding the Q link button like we did the last time, you can actually tell which one of these controls your playhead, and it is the second button on the first menu. So this is the particular one that, okay, we are on the fourth one. Now the first one, now this is the particular one that controls your playhead. As you can see, your playhead right here moves on each beat every 240. As you can see from here, from the tick, your tick is moving every 240, 0, 240, 480, 720, and then back to 0. If you need to fine tune it, like you want that movement to be slower, you want to be able to catch more detailed movement of your playhead, all you need to do is press and hold your shift. Shift works for a lot of things. Now check your tick when you move the playhead. Now broken down further, you can see the playhead is now moving in 60-60 interval as opposed to jumping to 240 per time. That is actually another way of making sure you fine-tune where your playhead will be if you intend to add or to put any MIDI event on any of those locations. Number three, Playhead Reset. We're talking about Playhead Reset. A good example, you've started playing a particular, maybe like one of your events, and your playhead is already here, maybe like somewhere here. When you hit stop, by the time you hit stop, your playhead stops here. Right now, first bar, the fourth beat, 0 tick. That's where your playhead is. If you really want to reset your playhead to go back to the beginning of your project, all you need to do is simply press shift and stop. Holding your shift and pressing stop will bring the playhead back. You can see the playhead jump back to 1 beat, the first bar, the first beat, and the 0 tick. So let's do that again. You run your playhead. Let me shrink this. So no matter if sort of whatever your playhead is, if you are looking for your playhead, instead of you start looking or probably start dialing this to bring it back to the beginning, just shift and stop will bring your playhead back to the beginning of your project. Number four, history. Let's talk about history for a little bit. Most of the things we've been doing, if you are currently working on your project, history, a lot of people are already used to the undo and the redo button. But what does history in itself do for you? History, basically what it does is it can actually help you to know the steps you've been taking so far to work on your project, and that is accessible if you come to your menu. See this button right over here? That is your history. When you click on it, as you can see, even when I set sequence length, you can see the action is here. Every step you take as you work on your project is displayed here. So if you want to undo anything, all you can actually do is, while your project is playing, you can step through the history to know exactly where, if you mess something up, where exactly you messed it up, or how your project has been sounded before, and probably after adding maybe like an effect or this, how it's now sounding. You can use your history to look through each of those, and you definitely know exactly what you need to keep and what you need to take off as far as your project history is concerned. So necessarily, you might not really need to go and start using undo each time you make a mess or something. If you just go through your undo history, that is your history, you can actually tell where you need to actually start your project from, or where you actually need to revert back to. Kind of like it says, it saves all the steps in sequence, and you can use that to work on your project. Number 5, tap to erase. If you are actually in pen mode, you don't need to go and start clicking on erase button to erase a particular event. All you need to do is just double tap on that particular MIDI event and you can erase it right away. Let's try that out. Let me go to the grid view. Let's say, oh, sorry, let me go back to the main and let's go to the first track. Then maybe I just quickly, if I just do, we're not going to be focusing on the beat right now, just the event itself. Let me come back here, record. Okay, we already have something recorded here actually. So let me enlarge this. This particular event, if I'm in pen mode and I need to delete this, anything I do here, all I need to do is double tap. Double tap. Tap once to bring it there, we'll take it there, but double tap will take it away. And that can actually help you, save the time of you having to go and click on erase, click on it to erase. You can double tap. If you tap anything, you can double tap to take it off. Number 6, full stop. It can actually be interesting sometimes when you're working on your project and you realize that, you are probably maybe listening to your project and then you hit stop. Some of the events stopped, the beat actually stopped, but some loops are still playing. What you need to know is you can tap your stop button twice to stop all the events, irrespective of if it's a loop or whatever. Everything will stop immediately. A good example, if you have this kind of sound, you hear that? If I press it once and I press stop, it doesn't stop. The same thing will happen if it's part of your project. If you press stop, everything stops, it doesn't stop. But if you press stop, double tap, stop, it will stop it automatically. You see? And that is the power of double tap to stop. Full stop. Number 7, real-time erase. If you're working on a project currently and then you need to erase while you are still either recording and things like that, you don't need to stop the project and then go back to erase and start erasing a particular MIDI event that you've actually, maybe like you did it accidentally. You can actually erase it on the go while you are still recording. And how to do that? It is simple. Let's take, for example, this particular project we have right here. Let's say I need to erase the third part, this part 3. All I need to do is, while I'm still probably like recording, I hit my play, overdub, and all I need to do is press and hold erase. Any part I press on, it will automatically be erasing the content. Do you see? And I can click on more. The moment my playhead runs through it, it will erase it. I'm pressing and holding. So all you need to do is press erase while your overdub is still enabled. If you click and hold on erase and you press any of the part, the moment the playhead gets to that particular location, that particular MIDI event will be erased. So let me undo this back to where it was before. That's good. Number 8, retrospective record. If you've seen some of our videos, we did some couple of weeks back, you actually have gotten the knowledge or a hand of how to do retrospective recording, which is something that is available on most of your MPC devices, but majority of the people does not know about it. You can check out one of the videos. You see how that actually works in detail. But in essence, what we're trying to say is any MIDI event you actually performed while you are using your device is not lost. It's actually saved in a memory elsewhere. And all you need to do is, if you actually need that particular melody, select your retrospective record, enable it or engage it, and it will bring that particular event to your screen. So let me take a look at something for you. Let me see. I just pressed that without even hitting the record button. But I think I like what I just pressed, and I want it to come on as part of my project. All I need to do is shift record, retrospective record. And as you can see, the retrospective record has successfully put all this. It was not there before. If I play it now, you will hear what I just did. And that's how retrospective record works. If I undo from here, you see that just goes off. So retrospective record basically just brings back anything you might have punched or played on your part without hitting the record button. Pressing shift and record will bring everything back automatically. Number 9, track explode. Let's take, for instance, those of you who prefer to do your project here on the Akai MPC device and then go elsewhere to do your mixing. And if you want to do your mixing, each of those tracks is supposed to be, each of the instruments is supposed to be mixed to taste, like separately. So if you really if you are not going to do your mixing on this device and you want to export it and do your mixing elsewhere, if you export as it is, because right now for me on my track 1, if I come back to the main, that is where I have all of my kick and all this trap and all these snares and all my hats. If I need to actually blow it up so that it can keep everything on one track per instrument, all I need to do is, while I'm in the track mode, I go into the edit and then I tell it to explode this button. Once I click explode, what happens is it splits everything, every instrument, it splits it on different tracks for me. And now, right here where I am right now, if I click on this, you can see track 2, from track 4 now, track 5, each of them now, if I solo it and I play, this is just my kick. Next one, this is the hat. All these ones are unused. So that is basically how Track Explode works. And then you can now export your project and send it out for mixing. Track Explode will make your work a lot easier if you want to mix outside, because it will export everything for you individually. And that's how Track Explode works. Last but not the least, 16 levels. We've also covered this in one of our previous videos. If you want to know how to use it to the fullness of its capacity, 16 level is basically used to help you to make your work a lot easier when you are trying to fine-tune, let's say your velocity, you're trying to fine-tune even the tuning itself, or your decay and the attack on each of your parts. So for any project you're currently working on, let's take for instance on your track 1, if you have this kind of kick, all you need to do is simply enable your 16 level, and then if I put it to velocity, it will allow me to run through the kick from lowest to the highest in terms of velocity, converting the 16 parts to that 16 level for me. And even if I enable and I select maybe tuning, the tune, and I click close, as you can see, that 16 level will basically just help you to make your work a lot faster when you are trying to quickly get the first 16 levels of your velocity, your decay, your attack. It's got a lot of features, but for the sake of this video, I'll keep this as simple as possible here. If you really need to know how much more in detail 16 level works, check out the video on one of our cards up above here, and then that will explain to you everything in details. So there you have it, the 10 more features to make your workflow a lot faster and to basically just enhance your productivity on the Akai MPC device. This is what you need to do for me. Anyone that you've used before or you're familiar with, kindly drop in the comment section below. I need to hear about them. Or there's anyone that might have omitted, also feel free to drop in the comment section below, and we'll get back to you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and you know what? We'll see you in the next one.